Hi everybody! So, I am excited to do today's course lesson, and as we do it together today, we'll be following along with lesson 24. I do not perceive my own best interest. Now at first, before I even go on reading the lesson, I am going to point out that this thought can appear to be quite abrupt to the ego mind. Since the ego mind likes to be in control and it bases everything in its world on what it perceives, it thinks that it's perceiving your best interest. And yet what we are learning is that the thoughts in our mind are inaccurate. And that what we're learning is right perception. And it is in this right perception, and only in this right perception, that we are seeing our best interest. So today is a lesson of openness, of honesty, and of listening inwardly. And so I'm going to read the course lesson, and we'll see what the instructions are for today to apply it. So, Jesus says, in no situation which arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. Therefore, you have no guide to appropriate action and no way of judging the results. What you do is determined by your perception of the situation, and that perception is wrong. So as I pause for a moment, the first sentence, in no situation which arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. The reason this is so is because the happiness is not found externally. The happiness is an inward condition as an effect of the acceptance of what we are, of the acceptance of the seer, and not that which we see. And so any situation that arises in our external world, we are only seeing it based on our thoughts, our perception in our mind. So we're not seeing it truly. Therefore, we are not judging truly. We're seeing it through the body's eyes, not the eyes of our spirit. And therefore, what Jesus is saying here is that determined by our perception is the situation, and our perception is wrong. So we can't trust it. And because our perception is wrong, we are not perceiving our best interest. Period. It is inevitable, then, that you will not serve your own best interests because you're not perceiving correctly. Yet they are your only goal in any situation which is correctly perceived. Otherwise, you will not recognize what they are. So, until we have right perception, we're seeing things how we think they are, and we set up our goals of what we think will bring happiness. But most of the time, these goals bring us the opposite of happiness, or a mix of the two. And so the reason that we are seeing that is because it is our perception, and it is that is the block to what we really are. I love this part here, okay? If you realized that you do not perceive your own best interests, you could be taught what they are. But in the presence of your conviction that you do know what they are, you cannot learn. The idea for today is a step toward opening your mind so that learning can begin. So I think that it is important, because when we think that we know, we've stopped ourselves from learning. There is a quote in the course that says that when you have become open to learning that you know nothing, but are open to learning everything, you will learn it. So we literally must empty ourselves of the thoughts and the beliefs and the ideas in our mind so that we move past it to the truth. But if we think that we know, then we cannot learn. But if we admit that we don't know, is when we can learn. So today is the beginning of that openness and recognizing that we don't know what our best interests are. And then we can open to knowing. The exercises for today require much more honesty than you are accustomed to using. A few subjects honestly and carefully considered in each of the 5 practice periods which should be undertaken today will be more helpful than a more cursory examination of a large number. 2 minutes are suggested for each of the mind-searching periods which the exercises involve. So today we are all going to partake in 5 practice periods, sitting down for 2 minutes a time. So that's literally 10 minutes in a 24-hour time period. That's not that much that is asked of us. And during these moments of going inward, we are going to be looking at specifics in our mind, the specific goals, right? The specific things that we think that we want, what we think is in our best interest, and look at those. We're being specific, Jesus is asking for. It's saying practice periods begin with repeating today's idea, followed by searching the mind with eyes closed for unresolved situations about which you are currently concerned. The emphasis should be on uncovering the outcome you want. You will quickly realize that you have a number of goals in mind as part of the desired outcome, and also that these goals are on different levels and often conflict. So just to put it in other words, right, our practice periods are going to be of searching the mind with eyes closed in regards to the events that we have in our life, in regards to certain experiences in our life that we might be concerned about. And we are here to realize what it is that we want. What are we asking for? What do we want from this situation? How do we want it to occur? Good or bad? We just want to see what we want. We're uncovering the wants here. And in doing so, that allows us to see that our desired outcome is, generally speaking, on different levels. It comes from 2 different places, 2 different sources. And we get to see that today through applying this lesson. And so to be more specific in today's lesson, it's saying, name each situation that occurs to you and enumerate carefully as many goals as possible that you would like to be met in its resolution. The form of each application should be roughly as follows. In the situation involving this person or experience or event, I would like something to happen. What is that something? And I would like something else to happen. What is that other happening that I would like to see? And to begin to look at all of the goals that we have, what we think would be good in the situation, what we think would be bad in the situation, and begin to unravel what it is that we're asking for in here. What is it that my mind thinks I want in regards to this situation and how I want it to be resolved or fixed or changed or made better? It says, try to cover as many different kinds of outcomes as may honestly occur to you, even if some of them do not appear to you to be directly related to the situation, or even to be inerrant in it at all. What is coming to mind here that might be helpful for this exercise is a journal. I often write down my thoughts in there so that when they come to my mind, I can write them down, and I have a list that I can almost observe and see what is going on in here. So that might be something helpful as well. If these exercises are done properly, you will quickly recognize that you are making a large number of demands on the situation which have nothing to do with it. You will also recognize that many of your goals are contradictory, that you have no unified outcome in mind, and that you must experience disappointment in connection with some of your goals, however the situation turns out. Right? So we're just being very, very, very honest here in our thought system today. After covering the list of as many hoped-for goals as possible for each unresolved situation that crosses your mind, say to yourself, I do not perceive my own best interest in this situation. And go on to the next. So this is amazing. We get to tackle specifics here today. Specific, hoped-for goals in unresolved situations. So that can be any unresolved situation, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a work thing, whether it be an experience, and apply it to everything that comes to the mind. And we are then affirming to ourselves that I do not perceive my own best interest in this situation, and we can let our thoughts go free. No longer try to figure it out, no longer try to understand it, no longer try to do anything further than that. complete that lesson with that thought and let it on go. Right? This is the beginning of the reversal of our old thought system. And this is the beginning of honesty and openness in our mind. So thank you, everybody, for applying the lesson for today. I will do the exact same thing, and I look forward to seeing what comes forward with it. So have a blessed day. I love you all. Bye.